Back in the 90s, fighting games were everywhere, and there were just so many games that had to be just like Street Fighter or Tekken as examples. When 3D fighters came out, all kinds of companies had to get in on the action too and make their own version of what they wanted. Companies like Koei, which usually make strategy games based on Romance of the Three Kingdoms, they decided to make their own 3D fighter and call it Destrega. I've only talked about this game one time on my channel on my Obscure PS1 video about a year ago. From the time I did play it, I thought it was a pretty fun game. It was definitely different and had its own unique premise with how it played. It'll remind you with stuff like Power Stone, which was on the Dreamcast. Instead of entering about 10 different buttons on command, you have only like 2 or 3 in this game, and you get to fight from distances shooting like magical attacks. I played through the entire game and did all the game modes, and definitely want to talk about this one if it's worth your time to actually check out or not. Sit back, relax, let's go over Destrega for the original PlayStation.
Nothing escapes these blades.
Destrega came out in the year 1999 in North America as well as PAL regions. It was developed by Omega Force and published by Koei. Omega Force is a studio within Koei, and everyone really knows them as the people who made the Dynasty Warriors games, all those hack and slashers, and of course all the other types of games like Hyrule Warriors or Dragon Quest Heroes. The plot is pretty long, but just to kind of shorten it up, it takes place 1,000 years ago, and they're on this country called Zamul. The people who inhabit it called Destrega, hence Destrega. A lot of bad things happen in this place, and there's a guy named Zauber who's the main villain and a playable character. You guys have to work together to take him down, and yeah, that's pretty much the story. It's very different compared to other fighting games. Feels more, I don't know, kind of like an RPG story. With this being a fighting game, it definitely has its own controls. You can move around with the D-pad or with analog controls, and you can go in all directions since it's a 3D plane you're on. X is a jump, square, triangle, and circle are your attacks. Square is your fast attack, triangle is power, circle is span. R1 you can dash with that, and L1 you can guard. Other than story mode, if you play the other game modes, usually it's best 2 out of 3 and you move on to the next round. This game does have a story mode, and it kind of surprised me because it's pretty ambitious. There's a lot of voice acting in the game, a lot of cutscenes, and they put a lot of effort into the character models. It drags on though. I mean, this whole thing is about 90% story, so for about an hour and a half you're just watching like kind of like a movie, and then a few battles here and there.
What is it you want?
We want you to help us defeat Zauber.
Of all the crazy. And just how do you two plan to defeat the mighty Zauber? I'll show you how.
Unlike other fighters, you have these big open areas that you can navigate through, and sometimes buildings and structures too that you can go through. They definitely do this to complement your abilities in this game. You can definitely punch and kick if you're at close range, but that's not really the whole point of this game. Your magic is the whole purpose of what you do with battling. Your square is your light attacks, your triangle is your power attacks, and circle is what they call span, or it's like a cone, has a lot of range to the moves. You can use these by themselves, or you can combine them, like using square, triangle, or whatever, and it'll do a little bit of different stuff. The max combos you can do is 3 buttons, so the combo system is incredibly simple to get down. You can use L1 to block attacks like I mentioned earlier, and it just reduces the damage that's given and you don't have any knockback. You can also press L1 after pressing square or so, and you'll do like a deflection shield too. You've got your life meter, which is at the very top corner by your name, and then right under that small meter is your magic gauge. It replenishes over time whenever you use magic. Whenever you get in the green, which is about 2/3 all the way full, that's when you can do about 2 or 3 button combinations. If you've got a low amount of magic, well, you can only usually use 1 button at a time. The more button combination you do, the longer it takes to use your magic, but the more power it has whenever it hits your opponent. The game modes in this one, you've got your story mode like I mentioned earlier, your 1-player mode, which is like arcade mode, versus mode, endurance mode, team battle mode, you can select up to 6 characters at a time attack, and practice mode. The stuff you've seen before. As you already suspected, we gotta talk about the characters in this game. The first character we gotta talk about is Grad. Yeah, his name's Grad, not Chad. and he is the main character of this game. He's like your, yeah, I'm gonna beat the bad guy kind of dude, and he just shoots fireballs and stuff. You have Tiene, Tyne, whatever you pronounce. He's got the swords here. He's kind of the douchebag character. Angie, this blonde chick with this talking yellow floating thing. Gotta have a bubbly character in every game. Doyle here, I like this guy. He's kind of slow, but big, but he has a lot of cool fire powers. You've got Cougar, this ninja guy, and he is incredibly cheap if you use him. And of course, Zalber, which is the villain of this game, and he's kind of slow, but has these cool darkness powers. There's 12 characters total in the entire game, so definitely some variety here with their magical skills, but in terms of appearance, I'm not really the biggest fan of these. I mean, they just look like regular Dynasty Warrior kind of characters to me. Design-wise, kind of bland, but magical abilities definitely have variety. Destrega is definitely a good fighting game. It's got a unique take on the genre. You've got varied sets for each fighter with their magic and all that stuff. It's got some fun game mechanics to get good at that aren't really too complicated and don't have about 10 different buttons that you have to remember. Story mode is cool and definitely ambitious, and I think it really looks good, but I think it's a little too ambitious for a fighting game because this is something you'd see in an RPG. Kinda just feels like I'm watching a movie, not really playing a game. Music's fine, there's not really many tracks in the game. You'll be hearing the same guitar type of anime rock songs all the time. Some setbacks of this game though, close combat is just kinda weird how it handles. Whenever you get close to an enemy and try punching, sometimes it just kind of feels delayed. I don't know if they just give the advantage to the CPU, but it kind of got on my nerves after a while. And I'll just go ahead and say it. Some of the combos feel a tad too strong. It's a little unbalanced. I mean, you could just spam triangle circle with some characters, and you literally are invincible, it seems like. I'd be lying though if I said it wasn't satisfying. The final verdict, Destrega is definitely a fun time and worth checking out and a good game to play if you want to play against a friend. This game is buried in the PS1, so that's the only way you can play this game. It's about $40 complete in box for you collectors out there. I scored this game loose for $10 about a year ago, so definitely was worth the purchase. But if you're not into collecting games and you just want to play it, well, do what you gotta do to play this one. That's all there is to say about Destrega. I appreciate every one of you guys for sticking around to watch this video. You have anything to say? Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you got to say about this game, Dynasty Warriors, Hyrule Warriors, or if you like pairs. Until next time, y'all take it easy.